What's up, guys? Today I'm just going to be doing a little follow-up on my original blog post. I think there were a couple of things that I left out that I'd really like to touch on. And so number one is meditation. And this is something that I've been doing for about a year now, pretty much every night before I go to bed. And some days it'll be 5 minutes, some days it'll be 20 or 30 minutes, depending on how I'm feeling. But it has really helped me to fall asleep much quicker and just kind of get all my thoughts out of my system so that I'm not laying in bed for an hour and having these thoughts run through my head. I think a lot of times we let our thoughts run instead of really trying to understand where they are coming from. And I know for me it has really helped me to improve my emotional intelligence, just to be able to recognize what's going on through my head. And I think this is something that, especially even if you don't suffer from anxiety or depression, I think it can be very useful in just your overall well-being. I know for me it has been a huge factor in improving my life. So if this is something you struggle with, give this a try and let me know what you think, if that works for you. But number two is just getting outside, out into the fresh air, into the sunlight especially. And sunlight is actually proven to increase our serotonin levels, and I think that this is often underestimated in especially trying to improve depression. So even if it's just going outside to take a walk or maybe go for a jog, whatever it might be, just simply getting out of the house. For me, I know anytime that I ever felt like I wanted to just lay in my bed, I would just force myself to go outside and get some fresh air. I think it's really underestimated, the power in that. So number three, though, is just finding something that you love, finding something you're passionate about that brings you joy in life. I know, so for me, I found this in music, and most specifically in electronic music. So I know not everyone is into electronic music, and I totally get that. It's not everyone's thing, but for me, it gives me a sense of happiness and optimism about life that I don't really find in many other places. So actually, if you don't know, this site was inspired a little bit by Avicii. So if you don't, I'm sure most of you know who Avicii is, but if you don't know, he actually committed suicide a few months ago. And this is just a perfect example of, we really just have no idea what's happening inside of someone else's head. It looks like this guy just loves his life. You'd think that he's traveling around the world playing his music out to people, and he decided that taking his own life was his best option. And he's not the only celebrity or famous person that's done this. There's been countless stories of these people that you would think are thriving in life, and they end up committing suicide. And that's just a perfect example of how real depression is. It's a real illness, that it's a chemical imbalance in our brains. It's not just something that people feel like, they just want to feel sorry for themselves or anything like that. It's a real disease. It's something that there is studies out there, and there's medication designed specifically for it. So if this is something you struggle with, I urge you to go find help. Don't be afraid to seek out help for something like this. It's a very real disease. So actually, even the name of the site was also inspired by a electronic song, "Break Through the Silence" by Martin Garrix. That's not as important, but I just thought that was interesting to note. And so anyway, guys, that's pretty much it. Just try to find something that you can appreciate about in life. We all have different things that we love, and other things that make us feel the way that we do. And so if you can find something like this, that you wake up and you have a more optimistic perspective about the day, I think that's something that has been dramatically beneficial for me. So anyway, that's all I got for today. If you guys have any feedback for me, feel free to leave a comment or send me a message. I'd love to hear anything that you guys have to say. So thank you, and I'll see you soon.